All right, you horrible lot. How you doing? This is not a drill. It's time. Hello. Hello, my little... you know what? This is going to... it's just going to be me talking. I'm not going to be doing anything else, really, today. So, I probably should put on some background music. Do I have background? Like, I had something... Let me just check. Everyone take a drink. You are thirsty. This is what I get from doing all the this fandom is thirsty. Is what I've learnt. I've learnt it, and it's true. It's true. Just is. You guys be thirsty. Oh, winning moments. That feels like that's the playlist, right? Is that a bit quiet? Probably. I'm quite... Oh, it does get loud after a bit. So we'll see how it goes. We'll adjust volume as we go. So, how you feeling? Huh? Oh, yeah. So, in case you didn't know, we're going to be talking vampires finale stuff, and it's going to be spoiler alerts. All spoilers, all the time. So, yeah, you just about recovered from like genuinely. Okay. Genuinely, Tuesday we recorded the final episode, so it's been nearly a week. I literally, my eyes only started being normal yesterday. Like, I cried so much that I had sore eyes for 4 days. So, I don't know why you're here for 4 hours waiting. That's insanity. But it's you guys. So, I shouldn't be surprised. I kind of am, but I shouldn't be. I should know this by now. It's fine. Okay, so thank you to Mellow Moogle for the 5-month resub saying yay. Raven for the 250 biddy says, hey Cleo, howdy chat. I will never emotionally recover from yesterday, but I'm ready to pick your brains. Oh god. Yeah, that was the one that I was concerned about. Pushed Cheered Biddy says getting Moonicorn is early. Thank you. And Mars 8 minutes ago resubscribed for 8 months. And 3 hours ago tipped and says, hi Cleo. Hi. You're insane, you guys. You're insane. Syntax. Cheered Biddy says, Pearl and the Gundo, you are the heroes of Oakhurst. It was never vampires versus humans. It was always Oakhurst versus those who wished it harm, and Oakhurst won. Yeah, it did. Cluster Logic resubscribed for 51 months, says 3 cheers for more lore. Arcane Girl cheered biddies and says, Raven and I have lots of questions, and we're very excited. And Evie Calhoun gifted 10 subs community. Thank you. I do appreciate it. The Cat Zelda resubscribed for the very first... No, it's just subscribing, isn't it? If it's the first time. Just thank you for subscribing. Well, if you look to your left and to your right, you'll see there are no exits. So, have we watched Pearl's ending? I was there for it. I know what happened. So, also you were over 80. I was 94 specifically. Yeah, she was old. She was proper old. She looked about 25 to 30, I would imagine, if I was thinking about it hard. But yeah. NX3638489 cheered 5,000 biddies as a small thank you for the wonderful vampire series. Wow. That's not small. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Wow. Like, that's huge. And thank you, Paleo, for the biddies. Looks 30. How much does it slow the aging? I was estimating it aged approximately 1 year for every 10, approximately. But she was going through it, so she aged faster than that. So yeah, she looks haggard for what she was, because she was massively traumatized, like massively traumatized. Ah! Thanks.
Ready for this?
Oh, there seems to be gift subs, gift packs, gifted. I don't know when that was. It was yesterday, it looks like. Well, it was Silvervarg. Thank you, Silvervarg, if you're still here. Well, she was a farmer. Yeah, no, it makes sense now. Would she have been physically 21 or 22 if it was... Yeah, but she looks worse because she murdered a whole bunch of people. Like, a whole bunch. Like, I think maybe Scott, given he was alive for hundreds of years, maybe murdered more, but it might be a close run thing. Probably closer than we think. It looks great for looks amazing for 94. But yeah, people think the white hair was the cause of becoming a vampire. Really, it was the stress and the trauma. Wait, did Vampire Cleo farm just for their Frau Vamp or for Mother too? She farmed for the Coven. Oh, she didn't farm humans for her mother because... Okay, it feels a little early to be getting into, like, the deep lore. I was not prepared. No, me and Lungundo were great together. I was on his stream and I just found out that he's also a DM. And then everything makes sense because that's just what DMs do. They go hard as a motherfucker. Trauma equals white hair equals pretty vampires. Like the hair was mandated. Like I saw someone on Tumblr going, oh, Scott turned his hair white and all the other vampires copied him. No, it was in the design brief document. It was in the design brief document that I've just found out that Legs didn't read. So yeah, that's why Legs' vampire did not have white hair. It's funny as trouble spelling too. Yeah, I've written into every sentence Vampire Cleo has raided, said or even written. Hi Martin and Raiders. Welcome to whatever this is. We're doing lore and stuff. And the deep lore. We can pretend Legs never reached level 3. Oh, if that's not level 3, God, I hope he hit level 3. God, I hope. Is Stage 3 Cleo's outfit a fancy robe over their human dress or a full new outfit? It's a fancy robe over their human dress. I went to Hoffen with the... basically, what I did was I said to Hoffen, okay, do you have time to make a couple of skins? And Hoffen goes, yes. Which is what you want to hear from someone you go, whose work you admire that much. And then I basically pasted over the design brief. And then I said, I want this dress. And I showed her a picture of a dress that I liked. For the regular one with just stompy boots. And then I said, could you create me goth vampire queen? That was the brief. Goth vampire queen. But yeah, I'm pleased that thank you for giving your people to me, Martin. I do appreciate it. Martin was just so good. Like the roleplay was so good. You want me to turn the music down a little bit? Can do. Can do. Give me a sec. Woo. There you go. Music down a little bit. But yeah, like Martin's death was just the worst thing. It was just the worst. Well, maybe worst thing after Lagundo's death for me. You died? Pretty sure you died. It was the worst thing. It was so bad. You still don't get why he died. Oh, okay. It's because Apo had already fed Martin her blood, and the body, like Martin had said from I think like episode 4, I want to say, that if I get turned, then I want the bloods to mingle and not work and something like that. So yeah, everyone knows Martin died except Martin. Like honestly, Martin's in character was like the most technically surprising death, because it shouldn't have happened. People are confused it meant I had 2 sires, which wasn't the case. It's just Apo's blood was present and it clashed with the other vamps and it killed the host. That makes sense. So yeah, so basically, vampire blood is very territorial. If the vampire is still alive and has given you their blood and you get another vampire's blood, it's gonna fuck you up. So who was the true vampire sire? Well, the sire would have been Legs, but because Apo already gave Martin, like this is Martin's job to be. Why am I telling you that Martin's story? Like God, this is Martin's theory crafting session to have. I mean, I suppose technically, like it all interplays with my backstory and stuff, but you know. It's role play. It's fluid. But yeah, Martin had that planned if he got turned. I think for like weeks. I do remember him telling me about it. Martin making you do his job. No. He gets to have one of these streams himself. That's the thing, and you're all gonna go and watch it, because if you don't, I'll punish you with. I'm just trying to think of something you wouldn't enjoy. Probably. Okay, let's talk about the Yuri's thing. Like, it's not canonically Yuri. You can read into it however you like. I don't care. But it's just very close friendship, and it's not really canonical Yuri, but it doesn't matter so long as you're enjoying it. It's fine. Don't take out. No, you can still have it. I'm not gonna keep it for you. Your acting in the finale or the one before really had me when you were upset outside. Oh, well, she gets to stay. Yeah, I'm cast out. That was the finale. That was the incredible Apo just argument that lasted. In-game half an hour. I kept, like, it was a case of, like, if Apo said at any point, yeah, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. That was wrong of me. I think I would have left it, but it was just sort of like I said, that was a wrong thing you did. And Apo goes, no, it wasn't. And I'm just like, just, please, take it. Just take it. If you admit you're wrong, I'll leave you alone. I promise. Oh, and every time Apo walked away, she came back as well. It was like, oh, okay, we're carrying on. Okay, that's fine. I can do this all day. I just want to clarify that. A lot of people are going, oh, Cleo and Apo just hate each other in real life. This is like something that is just terrible, and they must hate each other's guts. I want to set the record straight with everyone that is 100% true. We hate each other in real life. And it shows. That's why we don't hang out at all. Finally, the truth. Me and Apo were sending messages to each other, I think, not yes, probably the day before it all went out. And it was just sort of like, we were going, like, Apo was like, I don't understand why, I don't know if it was misinformation that you were trying to spread amongst the humans, or if you genuinely believed everything you were saying. But it was so frustrating. I'm just like, yeah. But yeah, no, like, Cleo genuinely believed everything that was wrong with Apo, and it felt vastly unfair to her. It was just sort of like, you've killed them. I've not killed them. Why are you pointing swords at me when she's killed you twice and has turned your friend? What? Why is that a thing? A phenomenal acting from both of you. Yeah. It was like, I'd heard, like, in character, like, out of character, I knew exactly what had happened because we talked about it in the Discord. But in character, I knew that Apo had come back to take vampirism after it was offered to her. That's all I knew. I knew, like, that's why Vampire Cleo didn't trust her in the first place, because it was sort of like, oh, woe is me, I got exactly what I asked for. How tragic. It was very much that, and Vampire Cleo isn't about that. It's just like, no, you take your lumps. Things happen and you take responsibility. That's very black and white thinking. So yeah. Also, Vampire Cleo was showing throat. What did I say in episode 1? I may have said something about I didn't think she was a very good soldier, but that would just, like, or maybe she was rich, because that was really my thinking in the beginning. You're very hopeful and it's misplaced. Yeah, no, that's not throwing shade. That's just Vampire Cleo's view on the world. Like, you're talking about a character that was basically enslaved for 80 years and got free 3 weeks before getting to Oakhurst. I mean, yeah, it's just like, oh my god, you're very hopeful. Wrong. It was wild. At first, like, Pearl was very casual chill, but after she heard you put in, oh yeah. As soon as Pearl realized that I was having a moment, roleplay wise, she just locked in. 3 weeks, yeah, she's been free literally 3 weeks. Okay, we can do backstory. Okay, so Vampire Coven that Cleo grew up in was not made to farm anything, like, with her mother, because her mother got her. I don't think little Cleo ever knew if it was, here's this orphan I found on the street, or I have killed this child's parents, I'll take them for my own. Could have been either of those, to be honest. And then, like, she had a relatively normal upbringing, as much as you can when you're surrounded by vampires and, like, basically monsters. The goats were real. The goats were real for a while. Or even, I want this child, I'll kill the parents. It could have been that. 100%. So her mother was, like, really high in the leadership structure of the coven, and it was like hundreds of vampires, like 1,000 maybe, and they all lived by the code, you know, keeping it serious. They lived on the outskirts of a very large city, so, you know, but they also run farms and goats, and, like, most of the vampires were quote unquote vegetarian. and then like this didn't come out, but like there was a vampire. I think I called him Arik. I didn't name him in the SMP, but that's what I called him in my head. Who tried to start a blood cult in the city, and Cleo's mum found out about it, and he basically knew it was either take over the coven or get staked, and he hated her mother. So I had a storyline of my character whose mother adopted her, just use her for blood when she got older. Yeah, that seems... I thought the Coven and the Secret... Me and Secret Society Abolished were part of the same thing at first, but they were actually almost antagonistic. I don't actually think they necessarily were, because the Coven didn't really hunt people. Yes, it happened, but it was kind of a like, we have goats at home. It was very much, we have goats at home. You get a pass, but try not to do it in the future. Did you work with the other creators to build your backstory? No, we each developed our backstories independently. Those of us who did that at all. Yes, we had food at home. So when she was 13, Arik, basically did a coup with a whole bunch of the vampires, killed everyone who didn't agree to follow him, and had very nasty beef with her mother, and did everything that he could to punish her. One of those punishments, after little baby Cleo tried to get to her mother who was burning alive, was turning her into a thrall and making her mother watch as she died as he did it. So, yeah. Did Arik implement... No, the code was from before. The code baby Cleo grew up with. Like, Vampire Society is nasty. Like, as a rule, it was deliberately designed to be a nasty little code. And yeah, she basically had to start killing people the day after her mother died, because it was a punishment for her mother to have her do these things. So what was the code? Oh, hang on, let me grab it. It's here. Okay, the code. There are 10 rules that basically I had this, like, it's on my Blue Sky if you want to look. It's 1, a coven divided cannot stand, which, like, these are the rules that I tried to play my character by. I'll talk about the thralling in a second. 1, a coven divided cannot stand. She did try and keep the coven together a bit in Vampires, but it was just sort of like, oh, you guys are idiots. Oh, maybe this coven shouldn't, like, it became very, like, the coven from Scott's coven was difficult. Number 2 is authority is taken, not earned. Vampire Society is nasty, but that is why she came in bullshy as anything and just started throwing her weight around. It was very much, oh, they don't know the rules. Oh, what kind of backwards redneck society have I walked into? Number 3 is tell the truth as much as possible. People misjudge the knife they see. Like, for all the people that were calling me liars, I had so many people saying, you're a liar. And I'm just like, when? I've lied to very few people. The only thing I can remember actively lying about was I told Scott that I didn't know where the holy water was being kept. It's the only thing I lied about to anyone ever. So my handwriting is I was a teacher, you know, you got to demonstrate good handwriting. Number 4, vampires are not real. Anyone claiming otherwise should be mocked, eliminated, but never turned. Which is why Shelby got a black mark next to her name. It's like, you shouldn't have turned Avid. Avid was a bad turn in multiple ways. Number 5 is where the beef with Apo comes in. Unpredictable risks must be eliminated physically or socially. Now, Apo was obviously having some kind of breakdown from vampires, like being a vampire, and it was just sort of like I say, it was like in Cleo's head, it was like, you asked for this? Why are you rejecting? What? I don't understand. Why are you rejecting this? How aware of the code from the other players through the SMP? Oh, they had no idea. They had no idea until I showed it to the vampires, I think, episode 6. At number 5, Pyro. Well, see, Pyro didn't strike her as particularly unstable. He struck her as a wet cat, which is not bad, but Avid was unpredictable and Apo was unpredictable. Like, that thing, unpredictable risk must be eliminated physically and socially. She tried to socially remove her from the vampire coven because she saw that she was dangerous, and she was, and I think that bears out in the text. Number 6, find supporters with rational voices in as many groups as possible. That would be Doc, her friendship with Doc, and it would be her friendship with Pearl as the two most rational voices. It would also be Martin as well, because Martin was relatively rational. What inspired the code? Backstory. I often, there are, I do characters in 2 ways. I have a little set of guidelines that I have in front of me when I roleplay them. And I have songs, right? I have 2 songs for Vampire Cleo to get me in the mindset of playing her. Calling Martin rational feels like a... Well, no, he was reasonable. He could be... He could understand. That's why she tried to get him on her side, because it was just sort of like, we're both reasonable people here. Let me talk to you like this reasonably. I don't want to hurt anyone. And she didn't. She never, ever wanted anyone hurt. What are those songs? Oh, one of them, they're both from Rocky Horror Picture Show. One of them is Superheroes, which is the song she started with. And then when she got turned, it got mixed with There's a Light. Cleo was pretty good terms with Scott as well. Oh, yeah, she didn't have problems with Scott particularly. She was all right with Scott. Scott was rational and stable and responsible, and that's all she really needed. She didn't like him particularly, but she had no animosity towards him. I feel like Vampire Scott got away with a lot. Yeah, he did. But you have to remember that in Vampire Cleo's eyes, so did she. The final tally then, when I calculated it, was about 29,120 people was her tally. So, at a certain point, Yeah, like they lived next to a big city. They went out, they got people for her. She killed one person every day for 80 years. The doc beat me by a lot. No, the doc said his total was 6,000. 29,000 is more. There were hundreds of vampires there. There were hundreds of them. What was the plague? The plague was a lie dreamt up by her mother, because they had talked about what their grandfather had said about Oakhurst. He died in Oakhurst, but he'd said to her mother that the place had a vampiric curse on it, and her mother didn't want her to go there ever. So she told her there was a plague and it was still in the soil. And baby Cleo kind of went, I don't think that's how plagues work generally. So she went anyway, but also she had to go. So yeah, her grandfather her grandfather adopted her mother when she was human, turned her when she was an adult. He was killed in Oakhurst, which is when her mother escaped. So we didn't have any like connections with anybody else's backstory, and I would never intrude on Owen's backstory. So I'm going to say no, not Lewis. Or Louis, even. So I don't feel like you're truly responsible for those kills. The high body count as a slave of Arik puts culpability on Arik, not you. Well, we know that. We know that. But it's very different when you're watching yourself kill 29,120 people. To not feel slightly responsible. So Cleo is roughly 10 times the kill count of Owen, roughly. Yeah, over 80 years, yeah. His was all in one day, which is kind of impressive, actually. Unfortunately, guilt is not when I stopped fighting. Yeah. Let me get through the rules, and then I'll talk about thraldom. And I'll talk about thraldom, how it plays out in my series. Rule number 7 is only turn those you can stand. Don't turn out of pity or carelessness or fear. Pity and carelessness is every bloody vampire in the coven, except for maybe Owen. Killing legs. That was the only turn that didn't fall under pity, carelessness, or fear. So any sire in any capacity was an idiot. Oh, and Apo. Apo didn't count under that. The turning Apo, Scott turning Apo didn't do that. Or Pyro, actually, now that I think about it. So it was every other vampire except Apo, Pyro, and Lagundo were in breach of Rule 7. Another reason why you were mad that Apo turned sausage. Like, honestly, canonically, there was an implementation of the rules. this is why it went in my brain. That we had to do toggle turn after episode, I think, God, the second double turn. After that, it was just sort of like, right, Owen said, we're only supposed to be turning one. We've made mistakes. I'm instituting toggle turn. You have to choose to turn someone. And Apo, out of character, Apo forgot to turn it off. So ended up turning sausage by accident, but because in character, my character knows that I would have to make a deliberate choice to turn on it, My character was very much, no, it's a choice. Like, accidents don't happen like that. You're obviously, like, you did the biting. You are responsible. You turn them with claws. You are responsible. Sorry, Apo. Telling all your secrets. That was hilarious because that mistake. Yeah, I don't know if we would have turned Pearl that day because Pearl, we'd spoken out of character and it was just sort of like, she was like, I feel like turning in the finale would be more fun. And I was just like, yeah, you're right, but we're going to try anyway. And she's just like, oh yeah, I know. But if I get turned by accident by another vampire, you know, whatever. I don't mind particularly. Yeah, so Pearl was open to turning at the end, but wanted to last as a human for a bit longer. So, and Tumblr's been teasing her for over a week. You're not spilling any tea. Did I plan to sacrifice myself going in? No, it wasn't a plan. But as the story developed, I was very aware that my character was probably going to die to the humans or whatever. And like, she thinks that she's a monster and maybe thought that saving people would help. She would absolutely have given her life to help other people. And I suppose in effect that's what letting Legs do it was, because he needed that death more than she did. So yeah. Criminal negligence, unprotected clawing and biting has a risk of transmitting vampire. It does. Was there a plan for if Pearl got turned during the series and there was a full moon? No. Pearl would have just been a vampire if she'd been a vampire in the blood. There was no coding or anything on that song. That was roleplay. We probably would have still done the ending scene, thinking about it. Yeah. Did you know that yours? We'll go into the plan after I've gone through the backstory. Guilt, spite, honesty is Cleo's character in 3 words. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that necessarily. I don't think it's spite. I think it's pain. Like, everything she's done is because of pain. It's interesting how Vampire Cleo and Legs were very similar and feel guilty, but dealt with it in different ways. I mean, it's because they have a different backstory, because the pain and the guilt comes from different places. I mean, me personally, like, Legs basically saying, I was a soldier and I had to do this, is very different to telling somebody who was basically a mind slave for 80 years that they're the same, because it's not. It was just sort of like, I could hear like creator Cleo in my brain going, oh, that's a horrible thing to say. That's a horrible comparison to make. Like, Vampire Cleo will absolutely agree with it, but those things are not comparable. You still had a choice. It's like, you had a choice. Like, Vampire Cleo did not have a choice. Okay. So, number 8 is enthrall the powerful or the useful, but do not turn them. I think that explains itself. It's basically, if you turn a powerful human, like, they're gonna be more powerful than you as a vampire. And the power dynamic is what matters. Powerful in the social sense, yes. So was Cleo's murdered mother. Cleo's murdered mother was a vampire. So was the person who thralled her. But those people are not the same. So Abolish would only ever be a thrall. No, Abolish is something else. I'm perfectly honest, killing one human a day is kind of lowballing it, isn't it? They had animals on the farm as well, which the rank and file generally got. The humans that she was killing was for Arik and his cronies. So, yeah. 9. Anyone can be a threat. Plan accordingly. I mean, that one speaks for itself. And the one that actually shaped Cleo's game in the later half of the episodes is your fledglings are your responsibility. They share your successes and your shame. Which is why Pyro being her sire really pissed her off. Because a fledgling siring of their fledgling is basically being a child of a teenage parent in Cleo's eyes. She was so angry. It's just sort of like, oh, you are an aggressively wet rag of a man, and you turned me, which means by turning me, I have your shame put upon me. And yeah, like she didn't like that as well. But also it was Vampire Cleo said that she was very much, I can't believe you're the one who turned me. Ugh. But it also affects how she saw the baby vampires. Not Pyro, because Pyro was technically above her, so she didn't really see Pyro as a fledgling at all. She saw him as her sire. But the babies of the group, it was just sort of like, oh, no one's taking care of you. Oh, I need to fix that. That's awful. No, people should be telling you how it's going to work. That's awful. You need help. I know like most of it because I grew up around vampires, but you guys, wow. You know. I don't know about the human powers, so parentified sibling vibes. I mean, yeah, but she's been doing that sort of thing her whole life. She's been taking care of people. So, you know, Cleo being the only one to help the newer vampires was so good. It was just sort of like, oh no, they're babies. Oh no, what are we gonna do? They're children, and you're just leaving them to fend for themselves. You're not taking them down. You're not teaching them about vampire history. You're not talking about powers. What is wrong with you? What the ever living is wrong with you? If not for the beacons keeping everyone locked in, the careless turns with no direction would be problematic. Yeah, like in Cleo's community, turns have to be approved. And if you don't, then you both die. Honestly, on a random note, I found it how funny Pyro, Shelby, and Drift were basically starving all episode, and I had a full stack of blood most of the time. I wasn't going down. I wasn't losing. I did give them meat. I did pass out my supplies, but Cleo wanted to survive. Because she's basically been free for 3 weeks. She's very prepared. She gets it done. My sire was almost half her age. Yeah, meant you could shower pearl in blood. Yeah. I was keeping it because I thought I was going to have to fight. I'm not good at fighting, and I also may not have fought back. So, like, I can't be sure about that. I think only you and Scott stayed level 3. Yeah. Is it bad that Vampire Cleo reminds me of you of your mother? I mean, she's pretty caring. But she's a little bit aggressive. She's a little bit aggressive. You're hungry, that's your problem. Well, if they asked me for food or told me or said they were hungry in front of me, I would have given them food. So... expecting some dudes that have been asleep for 600 years, living in a swamp for 200 years to teach the newbie vampires history is not a thing to do. Yeah, no, but like turning Drift and then Drift coming back to town and just being like, oh no. It was just like, no, I need to take you away and I need to tell you the things. And that was in character and out of character as well. What was Vampire Cleo's reasoning? Oh, yeah. Okay, so thralling. She was a thrall. So basically, being a vampire thrall is if you drink the blood of a vampire, like there are several tiers of it. You can be a thrall and be a vampire's companion, which gives you pretty much free reign. And then there's servants that just can think and do things for themselves, but they are still under the control of a vampire. And then there's a punishment type of thrall, which is basically you do what I say or you will suffer and you will be in pain if you don't do what I say, because it control like if you try and resist a vampire who has thralled you and wants you to do a thing, if you try and say no, you get excruciating pain. So that would make Martin Appos thrall. Yes, technically speaking, in this world, but you have to have drunk a lot of blood. Like, so much blood. Like, basically, as her mother was dying, and it takes vampires a long time to die by burning, basically this guy opened a vein and shoved it into, like, baby Cleo's mouth. Did Vampire Cleo resist at first? Yes. Resisted a lot. Suffered a lot. Did the things anyway because she couldn't resist. Baby Cleo needs a hug. She was 13. This was the person who murdered her mother, which is the only person she had in her life. So, well, like animals will come back. How did she escape? Oh, right. So you know how I said that the rule 2 was authority is taken, not earned. Vampire covens get taken over a lot, and another vampire staked Arik, and he died. And she managed, that was all she really needed. And then, on the way out, she blocked up all the exits and set the house on fire. Because she was still controlled by the blood, by whatever Arik had said to her. And basically, his commands were... It was pretty much... If I am going to die, and you know I'm going to die... and you can prevent it, you must do it. And you must punish my enemies. She had to do it. The people that survived Arik were his enemies. She also hated them because those were partly the people that watched her mother burn. And I think I said it in an episode that if those who watch are culpable. If you watch it and you do nothing to stop it, you're culpable. So she was fine fine with murdering all those people. Does it mean she killed the whole coven that is badass? I don't know. Like, not all of the coven were at the house at the time. They go in and they go out and they have places elsewhere. But she killed a lot of them. Like, a lot of them. So yeah, she set it on fire. And then she started getting blood hunger. Because if thralls don't have regular vampire blood, they start going through withdrawals. Some of them start to age incredibly, but it causes like pain. Aric, A-R-I-C, Aric. It starts causing withdrawals. It causes pain symptoms, and she knew that if she didn't get vampire blood, she was going to die. She was pretty much dead in months, so she went to Oakhurst. And it was either he gives me his blood, because she knew there were vampires there because her grandfather had told her. Either he gives me his blood, or I kill him. Or he turns me, or I kill him. Those are the only three options in her mind. So, like, she was trying to find her grandfather's progenitor. So, she was technically looking for Scott. And the weird thing about that is that Scott, she was trying to figure out who was a vampire, because she knew there would have to be some about. And she went with Martin to try and find what was happening, right? And to figure out who the vampires were, so she could ask to be either turned or thralled or something. And she followed Martin in and got herself bit. So, yeah, it was like, oh, I was coming for help anyway, and oh, Pyro? Really? Pyro's the one that turned me. Okay. So the cure would only work on her if she wanted to die. But Cleo wanted, like, here's the thing. Cleo doesn't know if, if she were to be cured, if the hunger wouldn't come back. She doesn't know if she was a vampire. Vampirism stopped her being a thrall, but if she was returned to human, she doesn't know, because being a thrall changes your brain and how you handle things. Did she take her armor off deliberately for that fight then? No. That was an accident. That was an accident. But also she wanted to make sure Martin was safe, because she liked Martin. Feel like it's a status effect clear kind of thing. You'd think so, but being cured wasn't a thing that she knew of. So she didn't know how the cure would affect her, which is why she wanted to stay a vampire, if at all possible. She was lying to Ren that she didn't want this. I don't know if it's lying, necessarily. Because she didn't specifically want this, you know? It was just... she just wanted to be, at best, I think what she was hoping for was to be a thrall under someone kind. You know? Did that play a role in wanting to turn her? What was the family treasure mentioned in one of the letters? Was it euphemism for vampirism? The family treasure was finding a vampire in the family too. That's what it was. There was a fair amount of misleading statements that weren't technically lies. Like, I'm very good at that. I can tell mostly the truth. So, yeah. Is she happy staying there with Pearl? Absolutely, yeah. Like, Pearl's a person. Pearl in like that Cleo has found someone who understands her. So Pearl's ending scene made me out. That was good. It was good. She could leave at any time. Yeah, like both Pearl and Cleo could leave if they chose to, and probably do occasionally in the future. But in general, like, they're comfortable, and my end of credit scene is pretty obvious. What actually happened with Oscar? In what way? Like, mechanically? Mechanically, Owen gave us a cat. We found the cat skull, and Owen decided, oh, you know what would be funny? It's the truth, and it followed the code. Yeah. Why was Cleo so fond of Pearl? Because Pearl genuinely cared. And I'm going to take a drink, and so should you. Like, Pearl genuinely cared about Cleo, and that's all Cleo really needed in life, was someone to give a shit. What is Vampire Cleo's thoughts on werewolf Pearl's werewolf form? I think it's once a month you're a pain to be around, but you know, that's most women as far as I know. It's fine. Do you think Cleo and Pearl would ever start their own covenant? No, that's not them. That's not them. They're not really like, vampirism isn't all it's cracked up to be. I think Pearl was genuinely a pure soul. I think that it could, like, that is a relationship that could have gone real bad, real fast. If Vampire Cleo had killed anybody, it could have gone so bad. They're large-scale chicken farmers, probably. Yeah, that seems likely. Let's do tips quickly. Let's do tips quickly. Oh, crikey. Jean Swifson resubscribed for 17 months and says, hi, love the series, thank you. Pseudo Microthorax Dubious Cheered Biddies that says, we've been in the chat waiting for the past 5 hours. Safe to say the Patreon is excited for the lore. Great. The Cat Zelda gifted 5 subs to the community, thank you. Bakura cheered Cleo Biddies, thank you. NX gifted 10 subs to the community, thank you. Don't Trust Your Sanity gifted 5 subs to the community, thank you. Chaos gifted 5 subs to the community, thank you. Poppy cheered Biddy says, honestly, what dual group you think has the best fan art? At the moment, probably the original 4 vampires, because like, doing vampire art is fun. I have the prettiest fan art, but collectively group, they do. My fan art is just, mwah, it's chef's kiss. Yeah, Myra's art was gorgeous. It was so good. Like the robe and the blood and the I think it was because my skin was so visually distinct from anyone else's, because everyone else like, we're vampires, we're doing red and black, yes? And I just went purple, which we can all thank Hoffen for. Hoffen went, royal? A goth vampire queen? Royalty? we're going purple then. But yeah, Myra's latest piece of art. Ha. Am I on Tumblr? Technically. I'll tell you what. We'll make a deal. If I'm in another PAL Creation SMP, I will go back to Tumblr. Yeah? So long as I don't get death threats again. My skin was visually distinct from the others, so like artists want a lot of people to be visually appealing, and the skin made such a difference to the art that I got, because it was like, oh, it was tasty. How could people do that to me? It's a long and convoluted story made of ignorance and willful misinformation. But I've been watching Tumblr for like the last few years, and things seem to have calmed down. I mean, you're in Pirates and Vampires, maybe another SMP in the future. I think we're all going to keep on doing stuff together. Thursday, I'm running Blood on the Clock Tower for them, so I don't normally stream on Thursdays, but I will be. I think we're doing it at 3 hours earlier, I think. So, yeah. Oh, no, it's not all the tip stuff. I just got distracted. Okay, sorry. Yes, I'm going back to the tips. Hang on. Yeah, I'm running... The peak stream was really funny. I mean, there's a reason people think I hate Apple. And the peak stream didn't help. No, I'm really fond of Apo, actually. Apo's great. Asmodee cheered biddies and says, I know we'll get into it, but thank you for the amazing ending. Everything leading up to the epilogue was traumatic, but the ending on a beat of hope, to me at least, was heartwarming. Fun fact. I'd written that letter originally to her mother, and then I edited the bit with me and Legs again, and I thought, she's going to write to Legs. She's going to have to write to Legs. Legs is more important to her now than her mother was, because her mother's been dead 80 years. So Legs was just the most important, like, aside from maybe Pearl, and even then it's a really close toss-up. But Legs was the most important person to her. So, yeah. And also, it meant I basically got to throw another brick at Legs. Basically, I was on his stream earlier when he was talking about it. Basically, me and Legs were throwing bricks at each other going, cry, you bastard, cry! And that was my final brick for Legs. Were the letters part of a journal? Probably. I don't... Like, she wasn't sending them anywhere. Like I get on so well with Legundo. Like, me and Legundo are basically, like, fundamentally similar people. Like, we're both GMs. We both storytell Blood on the Clock Tower. You know? And it's just sort of like, oh, okay. And it's just sort of like, he mentioned he was GM earlier in the day, and I was just like, oh, that explains it. Oh, okay. You're a GM. Got it. That explains why we both went so ham. Okay. But I'm glad you enjoyed the epilogue. The epilogue was like my final brick for Legs. I showed it to him a day early because he wasn't going to be able to watch it all. And he was just like, I made it 4 seconds before I started crying. I was like, yes, result. Thank you, Aston, for the 18-month resub. Thank you. Whimsical Rosebud cheered Biddy says, I didn't think you could make me cry, but I think a few tears slipped by. That was the plan. A second you said, dear Doctor, there was tears in my eyes. Yeah, he said the same. Oscar kicking the clock was so cute. Thanks. That took ages, which is why I didn't get... Like, that was like, oh, no, it's going to take too long. So who won the cry war? I mean, you can actually hear me crying in the episode. So I don't know, but I know Legs was crying too. He just hid it better. Starlight has cheered Biddy, says, I've got to go, but thank you for the great series. Oh, thank you. Meji Salem, thank you for the tip. Very much appreciated. Canna Russia cheered Biddies and says, I'm actually curious what Vampire Cleo's thoughts were on all the other town members, especially Abolish. Abolish specifically? Like, for the vampires was horrifying. But she respected him quite a lot. She respected him as much as she respected Legs, but wasn't as close to him because he was like, he kept to himself. Those tears are real. I figured you were acting. Well, I was, but that doesn't mean the tears weren't real. Like, you can act and cry at the same time. Like, they were acting tears. Like, halfway through that monologue, like, Drift disconnected from the SMP, and Owen hit a pause, which means we had to stop. And we were in full flow. I was sobbing, Legs was crying, and it was just sort of like... And we both just started swearing. We just cursed out loud because it was just like, we were so into it and we had to stop. And it was just sort of like, and he was going, you're killing it, by the way. Oh my God, I'm in tears. And I'm just like, no, you're amazing. And he was just sort of like, is this what we're doing? Is like, and we used that time to get like clarification about where this moment was going. And it was just sort of like, you're trying to get me to kill you, aren't you? And he was just like, turn me and then, yes, kill me at the end. Yes, that's okay. So we're on the same page. And then it was just sort of like the pause stopped and he went, okay, back into character. Tears, tears, tears. Release the bloopers. No. Why is it always Drift? Because it's always Drift. It is. I was happy to see your P. Oh, Cleo's just screaming at people. That's fun. And then it was not so fun anymore. Yeah. Did Legs have the same idea about you? No. Apparently I was the... let me just finish this. We'll talk about this in a second. Thank you, Seb, for the 17-month resub. Castlem, thank you for the 31-month resub. Glad to be here for 31 months, but I can't listen since I've watched your episode yet. Valid. Kane Collin resubscribed for 56 months. 13 gifted sub by Bluish Yellowy. Thank you. That's amazing. Myra resubscribed for 25 months. And Canna Russia cheered Biddies and says, were the behind-the-scenes conversation about your stupid plan, or were they on-screen conversations of how you convinced everyone to go along it? Okay, we'll talk about the stupid plan. So, I'm going to take off the blush. In the episode, I had brushed up against the world border. And you can, I left it in my episode for this conversation specifically. I brushed up against the world border and it had said, only one who has tasted vampirism and been cured may leave. And my brain just went, that's interesting wording. And then I knew about the other conditions because Owen told us out of character and like the beacons, you have to have all the beacons and no human can be left alive. And I was just sort of like, what if all the humans left because they were vampires and now they're humans again? They get what they want and they leave. And then my brain went, oh, but their sire would have to die. And then I was just sort of like, oh, okay, well, I can do that. I can die to save everyone. That seems like that's a nice narrative character death. I'd gotten to that point. I got to the point where it was just sort of like, okay, I can float this, and we can talk about, like, when I brought it up in character, it was the first time I'd mentioned it to anyone. It got brought, like, I figured it out in game and then brought it up in game. So, like, when I mention it to Pearl and Scott for the first time was where I'd gotten with it. And then it was just sort of like I had to act like I hadn't thought it all through. The snag was the holy water stuff, but then, but you can see me going, oh, then a vampire would need to. I can do that. That's fine. And that vampire would need to. I can do that. That's fine. And you can see Pearl go, what? and then Scott goes, what about the doctor? And then my brain went, what about the doctor? And I thought, no, he wants to die anyway. I can live. And then, because Owen was already dead, he was spectating. And then he popped out. Like the session paused, and we were just like, oh, why is the session paused? This is such a great plan. This is like, this can work. And then the session paused, and then it was just sort of like, Owen goes, are you trying to out-mechanic my mechanics? I was just like, maybe. Maybe I am. Because Owen codes everything, just so you know. Like, he didn't expect it. He didn't expect random good ending. Like, Apo has been describing it as the FNAF secret ending. FNAF secret ending. Don't play FNAF, by the way. And has been saying it's when you do everything right in the game and you unlock the secret ending. As Owen's so angry from the dead, he freezes time. Yeah, but it was a case of truly a D&D group behavior. The players outsmart the DM. Yeah, it was pretty much that. Owen was the DM, and he says, okay, these are the parameters. You all have to die, or you all have to survive, and the odd one can go out the border. And I can't remember when the cure stuff got put in. I think that was coded behind the scenes after week 2. So it wasn't originally it was gonna end in heartbreak and despair and torture. That's what we'd all signed up for. We'd signed up for the worst roleplay of our lives, is what we had done. And then goes Owen. Owen says, look, this wasn't on the cards. We have to talk to everyone about this secret sudden third option. And it was just sort of like, okay, so we need to talk about the secret option. Like, I was like, all right. It was already, by the time we floated that option, we'd already been recording for like 2 hours. So we were at the end of our run session. And nobody expected it. We've been barreling headfirst into tragedy, but it ended surprisingly wholesome. Yeah, like, it was a case of we all sat down in a group, and I think we spent an hour talking it out. And it was a case of, like, Owen and Napo were going, this is our SMP, but your characters are your own characters. You choose what happens to your characters and how they react. And then, like, they made us go down the list. It's just sort of like, are you okay with the situation? Are you okay? If you're not okay, what is a narratively satisfying end for your character? And we'd all talked it through, and, like, it's not planning. It's basically, let's talk about it in D&D terms. Owen's the GM, and we're working out over the table which is basically out of character. Is this where we want our story to go? Everyone is in charge of their own character. You get to choose. It's a check-in, yeah. And then, so everybody chose how their character wanted to end and how they would react. Some of those things we knew, some of those things we didn't. And then we went back into the role play. It's a planned escalation and de-escalation. I mean, it wasn't really. It was like none of it was planned. It was like, this is what my character is going to do. How, like, is your character going to respond to this? And is it okay if I do this to your character? And I think that's what it was. It was just sort of like, my character's going to try this. Are you okay with me trying this? You can react however you want to react, but I'm going to do this. Are you okay with me doing this? And I think if we weren't, we would have just scrapped it and just gone back to killing each other. Was Ren's reaction anticipated? Not by me. I had a fairly good idea of what was going to happen to Martin because we'd spoken in back chat about it before. Like, I hadn't got... Oh! Choo-choo. Choo-choo. Second choo-choo. But like, my original plan was flawed because I didn't think of, like, the holy water and stuff. It was Scott and Pearl that managed to get that sort of negotiation. But once we had a solid plan, it was a solid plan. And we were just like, when Owen appeared, it was just like, Owen, will this work? And he goes, yes. It was just all like, oh, sorry. Like that he let us do it. He could have said no and he wasn't going to let us do it. But he decided to just, you know what? These are your characters. Off you go. So yeah, it was great. It was great. Like they knew, like, approximately what was coming towards them with me and Scott and Pearl and the Gundo going, hey, have you tried dying? Disgruntled, outsmarted GM, best GM. Yeah, it was great. It was great. I had a really good time. But it, like, the reason why I saw that is because of my D&D group. They are gremlins when it comes to mechanics. It's just sort of like, I'm an artificer. Can I make this homunculus out of meat? They're those kinds of gremlins. Pushed is one of my D&D players. They're those kind of people. So I'm used to looking at mechanics and going, how about no? Have you tried temporarily being dead? Can I make the homunculus out of meat? Yeah. They made... my friend was an artificer. They made the homunculus out of raw meat. And brought it to life. They made a meat dragon, specifically. And there are, like, butcher's shops which will make shapes out of their meat. And we had reference images of meat. This is what it's looking like. It's a meat dragon. Your dynamic with legs makes me sick. Was there ever a time you would have betrayed him? I felt like I already did a little bit. Like mentioning he could make holy water. Well, the vampires already knew that, I suppose. I mean, I killed him. I don't like... She trusted legs, and it wasn't until she realized that the Legs trusted her so much, which I think was in episode 6. And then Martin tried to kill her as a bat, and then he didn't do anything to say stop. So she felt very betrayed by Legs at that moment. But she was willing to hear him out. He almost didn't get that. I can never let my players, who is an artist fitter who's already collecting body parts, learn about the meat homunculus. It was mince beef. It was a mince beef homunculus. Need to know if it was Pearl's tail at the end. Yes it was. That was like, I showed that to Legs just to make Legs cry, and then Pearl chimes in because we have a clips channel on Batchat, and goes, I see that tail, and I'm like, I don't know what you mean. What are you talking about? There's no tail. What are you doing? So yeah, it was great. Did Vampire Cleo ever make a full decision on who to side with until they realized they could get everyone out at the end? Like her letter at the beginning of episode 8 was accurate. Her loyalties were split. She cared so much about Pearl and Legs and Martin, and she also cared about Drift and Shelby, and her loyalties were completely split. I don't think she could have made a decision until one of them started attacking the others. Like, it would have been whoever was the aggressor, she would have got in between. So hearing you talk about this all makes me rewatch, because I didn't feel like I put in my premiere before it all went down. It was like, when did you realize Vampires Cleo was having a mental breakdown? And they either caught it instantly because she started spiraling about episode 5, or they didn't realize it was happening at all. Like, she got 3 of the thrall by becoming a vampire. That was the moment when her mind was completely free. Like, the chemistry in her brain settled and she was out. So I do think those split loyalties helped Cleo fulfill the stupid plan. Yes, because she could be trusted to talk to both sides. Like, honestly, like we say, secret third ending. And like, if something hadn't happened, like if I had tried to turn Pearl. Hi, Legs! Thanks for the bricks! Watch the caps, guys. Caps get auto-deleted. I don't like people shouting at me. It makes me feel bad. Yeah. We were just talking about this. Yeah, me and Legs were... We basically said... Like, I showed Legs that final clip and he was just sort of like, you basically gift-wrapped a brick. It's good to see you, Legs. We're just talking about the plan and how, like, the plan just went. You know, enough for a whole house. So many bricks. Yeah, like me and Legs were just trying to make each other cry constantly. Like, constantly. And it was just sort of like, Legs would up the ante, then I'd up the ante, and then Legs would up the ante, and it just kept on just spiraling. It was just sort of like, and when I said, you tell me why you're a monster, and I'll tell you why I'm a monster, it was just sort of like, I've not really told anyone my backstory. I've told Drift a little bit, and Pearl a little bit, but I haven't told anyone full stop what is the matter with me. And it was just sort of like, oh, we're doing suffering today. Let's throw bricks. Cleo Lagundo, honestly, out of everyone in that SMP, like, playing opposite Lagundo was my favorite thing to do. It was just heartbreaking and real and raw every single time. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I should probably slash. It was great. It bricked you. Why didn't that track? Give me a second. I'll VOP you I'll VOP you after the stream because it's not responding to my commands. Brick Duo. Yes! Brick Duo! That's us! Next SMP, we need to collaborate on black backstories together just to traumatize everyone else the way we were traumatized. Our official duo is Brick Duo. Can't wait for the Brick Duo Blood and the... Well, I can't be partial to legs on Blood and the Clock Tower because I'm running it on Thursday. It's gonna be great. Collab backstories. Like, yeah, we did everything separately. In Vampires. The amount of backstories that seemed to collide in trauma for everyone was great. It was great. Oh, for you two throwing the bricks. Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Uncharted Dragon, for gifting a sub to legs. It's appreciated. Thursday, usual stream time. No, it's going to be at 5 GMT, I want to say. But yeah, like, it was such, like, I enjoy dramatic roleplay, like, a lot. But this is probably the second time I've cried during roleplay ever. And it was just like, that's wild. That's wild. If Legs came back as a ghost one last time, decades or centuries later, what would Vampire Cleo like to show him before the return to his rest? Probably... Oh. Like, what is Vampire Cleo doing 10 years into the future? I think she'd probably show him the things that they've rebuilt together. So she'd show him, like, the forest has grown. She'd show him the sunflower field that she's planting in Martin's honor. She'd show him Oscar because I've decided Oscar is immortal. Taking care of Wolfie Pearl. Pearl is only a wolf once a month. It's fine. Family photos of surviving vampires, probably, yeah. I think Cleo and Pearl keep in touch with Sausage, and they keep in touch with Scott and Shelby and Drift. And then the sunflower field. That's something I imagine. She would have built graves for everyone. Even Pyro, she would have built a grave for. She would have found his body and she would have buried him. Never talking to Apo again. Apo, as far as Vampire Cleo is concerned, is a monster. Is actually a wild monster. Even Avid. Avid already has a grave. Scott made Avid a grave. She didn't like Avid, but she wasn't going to kill him. But she didn't like him. But she's not going to... she knows where the grave is. Canonically, Scott and the girls come back every year to sit at his grave. Small town clinic named after him, maybe. Do they all hang out? I think Avid, we can visit Avid grave whenever we want. We don't. How about Abolish? I think Abolish is a secret agent, and I don't think he comes back. Which she maintains Ren's cottage too. Probably, because she's all about rebuilding and keeping Oakhurst safe. So, did you and Pearl ever name the cat? Yeah, it's Oscar. His name was Oscar when he was a head. Yeah, I think care about it, but also, like, considering that she knows vampires are buried in Oakhurst waiting to rise every 200 years. Because if you look at my finale, she says that they've been excavating and doing what needs to be done. So in my mind, this is what I see in my mind. Books still appear in the tombs. So every so often they go and they look for the books, and then Oakhurst gives them the information they need to stop this ever happening again. Like, this vampire was buried in this location. This is his list of crimes. And then they decide if they can rehabilitate or punish. So if they can rehabilitate the vampire, if he was just like a flunky or anything, just in pain, they get him therapy and, you know, move on, and then probably let him live for a while as a regular vampire and then release him. But those people who have crimes, like Scott, would have been staked. Unrepentant monster is what we would have classified Scott as, and if we'd found him, we'd have staked him. Do you think the other people would move back to Oakhurst and make it proper town again? I think people, like, not the rest of the cast. I think, like, over time, other people, like, particularly 200 years in the future, like, the people come every 200 years, or they're already there in 200 years. So people come, and Cleo and Pearl are there, making sure everyone is okay, and that if terrible things start to happen, they are on top of it. They find that guy and they stake him. Dr. Leg's Memorial Vampire Therapy Clinic. Would Cleo and Pearl be open about being vampires to the new townies? I think to some of them probably, but they would have to earn it. Scott is redeemable. It's a hard decision to make to kill a vampire, saying they're not redeemable. It's a hard decision to make, but past crimes show past behavior. If it was just sort of like, this guy was tortured in life and then killed 3 people, maybe we could go, hey, about that. That's not cool. What caused it? But if it's, I killed, like, Vampire Cleo's backstory would get her staked instantly. I killed 29,120 people over 80 years. Oh, well, we're killing you. But like I said, Oakhurst gives you the information you need when you need it. So they find the information, they know what they need, and they're listening to what Oakhurst is trying to tell them. So, yeah, like, Scott was redeemed because, well, I don't know if Scott was redeemed because of Avid dying. I think it paved the way, but I think it was because of Shelby and Drift, and the fact that he actually realized Avid dying made him realize that, oh, I actually care about people. Oh, no. Would Oakhurst tell them what Cleo did? I don't think so. Like, because Cleo's crimes weren't committed under her own control. Half these people are mass murderers, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, like, Vampire Cleo was a thrall for 80 years and killed 1 person every day, at least. So Cleo and Pearl have a little coven of rehabilitation. I don't think so. I think it's like one at a time, because getting together a coven of vampires is bad. I think Oakhurst remains a town. I think it's a town where there has been enough occult and supernatural stuff to keep it going. Comes a Vampire is now having a foster rehabilitation for, like, I don't imagine they get one more than once every 50 years. You know, I think it's a small number of vampires, but they are everywhere. Most of them, I think they stake. Most of them. Let's just do a quick. Oh, Legs gifted a sub. Thanks, Legs. Raven cheered Biff Biddies and said, insert text here, I'm just processing. Terra Tenya said, he subscribed for 2 months, said you and Legs were taking turns throwing bricks at everyone. Maybe. Ren Winter resubscribed for 2 months. Helson, thank you for the raid. Thanks for coming over. Armand said it was a stroke of genius that you figured out with the cast a loophole of the magic beacon system while in roleplay. Well, I didn't figure it out whilst in roleplay. I had figured up to the point of needing a sacrificial vampire. So it was like I brushed against the world border just before I spoke to Legs, and you can see it in my episode. And then I read the message, and then I stood looking at the board, which is where Legs found me, to be fair. I stood looking at the border for a while, and I was processing that in my brain. Was just like, can we turn them into vampires? And then and then I was like, no, the vampire would have to die. And then I was just like, oh, I can do that. I can be the sacrificial vampire. It'll be a great little end. It'll be really dramatic and terrifying. And then Scott, when I told Scott and Pearl about this, went, hey, Legs wants to die. And then I'm like, that's better. Damn it. You both just volunteering for sacrifice. Like, but it makes a good story, is the thing. And it makes people hurt. And hurt people feel the story. You know, they get attached, they get invested in these characters, and that's what you want people to do. And they get invested in hurt people. Right? But it hurts, but in a good way. Yeah? And then I had to clean up. Yeah, that broke me. I was full sobbing. So yeah, it was just sort of like I wasn't joking around when I just fell into sobs afterwards. That hurt. That hurt a lot. So I don't know. Oh, I'm just reading chat for the moment. Just like my brain is just like, Cabbage Girl. Cabbage Girl gifting 50 subs. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so nice. Oh, more bricks. Everyone throw more bricks. I think I need a brick emoji. Emote even. 50 is a lot. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Lagundo was Owen's only fledgling, and he made damn sure that Owen's wishes for the destruction will never come true. Yeah, like, I think I mentioned this in Legs chat. Owen described it afterwards that he was, it was to cause as much chaos as possible. He was trying to throw a brick into a washing machine, is how he described turning Legs. So, like, it was like he was trying to pass the pain on. You didn't seem outwardly to react to Pyro's death. I'm pretty sure I laughed uproariously. I'm pretty sure I laughed at Pyro's death. So yeah, I'm pretty sure and then Drift said something like he was what? Oh, a liability, which kind of felt pointed because that's what I'd called Avid as well. Yeah. So you laughed when you heard it was Shelby that killed him. Yeah, Pyro dying was just sort of like I think in that moment what Vampire Cleo was thinking was like, oh, I'm free if I want it. I don't want it, is what she was thinking at the time. And then it was just like, Shelby killed him, and she just pissed herself. Avid and Pyro dying was like, rip, poser! Yeah. Yeah, Vampire Cleo had no love lost for Avid at all. I think the music has just ended. Let's start from the beginning again. There we go. I think Pyro was happy that his character died that way. I mean, I think Pyro was aware that his character narratively should die. And it's like there are characters that should, to make the narrative feel whole, should get their just desserts. Pyro being redeemed was not good narratively. It's like Owen being redeemed was not narratively going, like, I'm gonna just spoil Owen's ending here, so if you haven't seen it, wait. Owen going to super hell. It's just sort of like, no, that feels correct. It's gonna make everyone feel sad and feel bad for him, but it is narratively the correct choice. And Pyro was a liability. What can I say? Drift was right. He was a liability. Because he was under Owen's spell at that point. You know? Owen got to see Louis once again. But not how he wanted. Yeah. Pyro's a murderer before he changed. Vampirism just enhances who you are. Yeah. Pyro killed one person. I killed 29,120. And I'm still a better person than Pyro. Pyro was only maybe a murderer. I'm pretty sure. Pyro wasn't getting attention. Like, Pyro was redeemable at the beginning if he had had better people surrounding him, but he had Owen and Scott. If he had been turned second and had Shelby instead of, like, he would have been better. So Apo didn't deserve all the torture she went through. You see, I haven't watched Apo's part yet, but I intend to, because I just can't take the arguing anymore. It was a lot, and I just wanted it to end, but it was just sort of like every time Apo walked away, she came back straight to me, and it was just sort of like the way I didn't show this in my episode, but it was just sort of like when I said, "I'm glad you have a home," and she said, "I won't if I don't leave here," and I'm just like, and then I let her walk away, having the last. Apo doesn't like not having. Well, Vampire Apo doesn't like not having the last word, and I let her have the last word, and it was just sort of like she stopped in the doorway, and then looked back at me and came back to me and says, "You've got nothing else to say?" I was just like, "No, just go." Apo does seem mean in everyone else's point of view, but her own point of view is so tragic. Yeah, Apo is the hero of her own story. She is 100% a tragic hero. But in my point of view, she murdered 2 people in cold blood, and she turned sausage, in Vampire Cleo's estimation, deliberately, because mechanically you had to choose at that point. It's not Apo's fault that Apo forgot to turn it off. But Vampire Cleo knows that, so Vampire Cleo thinks she's a monster, like actually thinks she's a monster. Like there was this thing on Tumblr, it was just sort of like, why are you lying all the time? Just stake it, just stake. In Cleo's point of view, like everything she said about Apo is 100% true. Like 100% true. Like she did murder 2 people. And she's being welcomed back by the town after turning sausage. It's horrendous. It's the one thing that Cleo can't like foresee. Like, no hate to Apo as a content creator. Making that character is so hard. That takes a lot of guts and will to pull off. Making yourself the hero in your own story whilst the villain in everyone else's is so hard. Apo did less wrong than Scott, but Cleo can tolerate Scott more. It's because Scott... The difference is because Scott owns it. And it's just sort of like, I did it. Yep. That's the thing that happened. Absolutely. Yep. 100% I did that. That's what I did. If Apo had said, like, everything that Apo was saying back to me was 100% in character. And it is, I want to be absolutely clear, it is a character. Apo is a lovely person, like, in real life. It is a character. Please do not hate on Apo because, like, their character is argumentative. Like, I want to make that clear. But it takes skill to make that character. And if she had said, like, if she hadn't come back with excuse after excuse after excuse, like, if she said, I did that and I regret it, I was going through stuff, Vampire Cleo would have gone, oh, okay, we all go through shit. Let's work together and move on. All Vampire Cleo wants from people is to own what you did. Because no one's ever owned what they did to her. And yeah, it's like, people say, oh, you're on your own side, Cleo. And I'm just like, am I? I'm saying that I'm on my own side. But what you have to realize is that my side encompasses Pearl and Martin and Doc, and also Drift and Shelby. Like, my side is actually trying to protect people every single time. Like, I don't want these people hurt. These people are the people that I care about. So, like, it was just sort of like, this is my line. This is my line. I care about these people. This is my side. Unfortunately, you've got vampires and humans as your side, and I don't have that. So it does look like I am not loyal to the humans, but I'm loyal to different groups. Vampire Cleo was on the side of not murdering everyone and more people against it than you would expect. Yeah. You're on your own side, but that side connects half the other players. I think, actually, I wouldn't have come up with the solution that I did. Sorry, that me, Scott, and Pearl did, if I hadn't been on both sides. Right? If I had chosen a side, then it wouldn't have happened. I don't think. Because I wouldn't have brought it up. Because I'd have been, rah, kill all the vampires, humans, etc. Depends on where I fell. Apo wanted to be with her partner. Great. Glad she has a partner. If you tell me, though, I'm gonna, like, after I've killed all the vampires, I'm gonna have to kill or turn all the humans, you are a monster. Because those are people that she cares about. She cares about the vampires and she cares about the humans. And as soon as you go into black and white thinking, you lose Vampire Cleo. You lose her. Mama Hen looking after her fledglings. Yeah. Yep. She had to look after them because things would be terrible otherwise. Core motive, still murder. To so many Vampires characters. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting theory. Still you murdered them. Okay? Side or not, Vampire Cleo definitely had the charisma. I feel like everyone wanted her on their side. Yeah, but everyone was okay with me not being on their side as well and being on my own side. Every single group was just sort of like, well, she's playing her, but like we can convince her. We can convince her. She's on her own side, but that doesn't mean she's not on our side. So, how did Vampire Cleo feel about Shelby killing Pyro? She felt it was justified, honestly. So yeah, she's not judging Shelby for that. I think the vampires would have won if it weren't for Vampire Cleo taking in the other fledglings. I'm not sure about that. Pearl learned a lot about roleplay and improv in this series. For someone who didn't do much roleplay, it was a very difficult series. Yeah, honestly, like I knew she wasn't comfortable with a lot of the dark stuff, so I tried to push it towards people that seemed more comfortable with it. So I ended up like doing backstory stuff with legs and yeah. Like, so coming to Pearl on that day was just sort of like, I need to stop crying. And I couldn't. Like, I was so invested and in character. And then Pearl adorably not clicking that you would kill everyone for her. I don't think I would, actually. I don't think Vampire Cleo would have killed I don't think she could. She struggled staking the dock and he wanted it. Like, she couldn't kill Drift or Shelby. She couldn't kill Legs if he didn't want her to. She, you know, she wouldn't even kill, like, I don't think, she might have killed Pyro for her, but I don't think she could have stomached it. Pretty much every point of view had at least one mention of being scared of one of the two. I missed that conversation. Me and Legs are such a good duo. Like, I loved working with Legs. Legs was an experience. It was great. I loved it so much. Took a few swings at Ren. At the end, I actually wasn't trying to hit Ren. I don't think I actually did hit Ren in the end. How did Vampire Cleo feel about Renard? Because I can't see you as human anymore from Ren. She thought he was a bigot. She thought he was like, she's seen it in humans before. But granted, most of the humans she did meet were livestock for the vampire cult she lived in. So yeah, I was like, she's kind of inoculated to that way of thinking, but she knew good vampires and she knew evil vampires, and it's just like saying you're a human, you must be evil, is just wrong. It's just wrong. She knows it's wrong, and she didn't, but she's seen it before. I love Ren, but his character was hard to watch. I can understand that. But I think you missed out on some, if you choose not to watch it because of that, I think you miss out on some really crucial developments in the SMP. Ren was a senseless tragedy that makes it beautiful in its own way. He couldn't grow to accept, and that ultimately doomed him. He was doomed in the narrative. Crikey. Thank you. Oh, I've got more things. Don't Trust Your Sanity gifted a sub. Thank you very much. Arcane Ghoul cheered biddies. What part of the series are you most proud of? Is all an option? I don't know. Hey Cam, thanks for coming. Ren can commit to a character. Ren is a theatre kid. Like, Ren has not really played D&D or any other TTRPG that much, and to swing so hard for the fences, Ren is so good. Ren is such a good person at making character. He knows. He knows. Ren and Owen are the point of... Like, I feel like Ren's... Like, it's a tragedy, but it's a tragedy of his own making. Like, his worldview is what brought him low. But, like, Ren is such a good actor. I'm just outstandingly amazed. The Square Hole resubscribed for 2 months, says, I've been watching your content for the past few months and I would like to thank you for it. I've been watching your streams almost every day. After school, and doing so has greatly improved my mental health. Can't wait to see you. Thank you. Well, keep watching. We'll still be here. And Armand cheered 1,000 biddies. Thank you being an agent of wholesome chaos. You make people happy, more self-assured and proud, in my opinion. Good, because you should, because you are 10s. In the terms that we don't do numerical based systems of judgment, but you're all 10s if we did, so it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, hated Ren as a character, loved the creator. It's like, the problem with making a character like that, and I have the same problem, is I come in hot with a character, especially one who's as unlikable as Vampire's Cleo is, and she is unlikable. Don't get me wrong, I understand that. It does affect views somewhat if you play a villain sometimes. So it makes things hard to work with. So anyone you see playing a villain and playing a villain well, please support them. Please support them. He fills the role that nobody... Yeah, it's like... Especially with RP stuff, like, watch their videos. You might not like the character, but recognize what they're doing with the character. I do not mind playing a villain. I am happy to play a villain. I'm a DM. I play villains all the time. And I play complex and complicated villains. Vampire's Cleo was intended to be evil at one point. Like, it wasn't until her lore was fully developed by playing her for about 3 episodes where my brain just went, oh no, she's just traumatized. Oh, okay, I can play that. That's good. Follow the code, keep being traumatized, and you'll come out in the end and you're actually probably a better person than you think you are. Oh no, she's tragic. Yeah, it's like I was intending to use her trauma to be a villain. And instead her trauma turned into, like, I'm not going to say her strength, but it turned into learning to find something to live for. Because I was expecting to make I was trying to, I was planning on a heroic sacrifice or a villainic sacrifice, maybe. Like, if things hadn't gone exactly the way they did, it wouldn't have happened. Like, the ending would have been different. Narratively, I wouldn't have, like, if I had gone full villain, I couldn't have brokered a peace with the humans. I couldn't have made sure everything locked in. So, yeah. How much of that villain's and tragic backstory is caused by Vampire's Pearl? Virtually none. Virtually none. It was actually Legs that triggered the Legs trusting her the way he did, because he was more open about trusting her than Pearl was at the beginning, and I think that's Pearl's being like learning how to slide into full RP, because she's not as, you know, doesn't understand, hasn't lived with it. But it was Legs going, I think where it clicked over was showing where the holy water was stashed when he knew she was a vampire. And she didn't betray that. She would never have betrayed that trust. She may have told them there was a stash, which she did, but she never told them that she knew where it was. She said, "Oh, I'll try to find it." She would never have betrayed that trust. At least you saved one. Yeah, he did. He saved her. Like, the various relationships between everyone in the SMP made sure there was yeah, mine and Pearl's stuff together was sweet and unintentional. My stuff with Drift is very much taking care of Drift. Did Vampire Cleo have any opinions on Abolish? He was scary and competent. And, you know, scary competency is great. Was it hard to... she didn't break the rule. She didn't break the rule because she lied about the stash. It says, tell the truth as much as possible. And she didn't feel like it was possible to not tell the truth in that instance. So she had to lie. Like she followed the code, I think, until episode 8. Like, she was having, she started having a breakdown when her mind got free, when she got turned in episode 3. And she she was fully thralled up until she got turned. And then and she was flailing inside, trying to find control. And she had a mental breakdown because she wasn't able to get control. And then the thing that gave her control was who she told about being a vampire. She could control that. That was something that was within her powers to do. So she was telling, I think at the end of episode 3, Apo, keep it together, keep it together. She wasn't telling Apo to keep it together. She was telling herself to keep it together. But Apo was there and having a freak out, so she could be in control because she was telling the other person to be in control. So, because she didn't have any control over her life until that moment. And she can objectively know some things, but not have experienced it in practice. It's like, keep it together. Because she needed to keep it together for herself. And then every step she took along the way was her having a breakdown and reaching out for control. She could control who she trusted with the information. She was in control of Apo's identity with the doctor. She didn't outright say it, and she didn't have to, and she knew that, but she was in control of that situation. Like, when the whole, she's okay, Doc. She knew exactly what she was saying. She was in control of that. So, like, as she got more, like, when she went into the vampires, she was certainly following the code, but she took control of the situation. She faced down the main vampire. She was in charge of that conversation. Scott may have, you know, Scott started reacting to what I was doing, and she was in control, seizing authority in order to, yeah, she was in control because she'd had none, and this was all she had to start taking back her life. And then she was in control with Pyro and Shelby. They were following her lead on what she was saying. I have gone through the cold rules. It's on my Blue Sky if you want to find it. I took a picture of them today. But yeah, she was like, it wasn't until I think episode 7, like, she was getting her footing, and then she realized how not in control she actually was. Like, and she had a full breakdown. Like, episode, like the end of episode 7, episode 8 was when she realized, like, it all sort of came crashing down in, like, I'm not in control. I can't do this. This is awful. I can't, like, I want so many different things that I cannot have. And that's why she cried constantly for an entire 4-hour recording. And like I say, so dehydrated. Is there anything Vampire Cleo regrets besides anything of her past? Like, anything of her past? Like, I don't, like, the only thing she has regrets about is staying to be a vampire thrall. That's the only thing she regrets. She doesn't know how things end up, and things ended up. Ooh. Apparently, the straw is a trigger for the tongue. Interesting. You saying I don't think we're making it out of this was quite hard. Well, she'd fully given up hope. She was like, that was after the conversation with Legs. He'd given up, like, in her mind, he'd given up. So she had to. Like, he was the only thing that was keeping her together, really. The fact that he believed, like, this was going to work. And she had a break. Like, that was what episode 8 was. Fortunately, Vampire Cleo is smart enough to figure things out when needed. Like, Vampire Cleo is at least as smart as I am. Let's put it like that. Like, finding that loophole was the only way this was going to end well. At all. They needed each other to believe in one another so bad. Yeah. Like, that conversation with Legs was just sort of like, you're the only person that can do this for me. You're the only person. We need to hold it together because we are the line. We are the line. We're the line in the sand that cannot be crossed. And together, that's all she had. That's all she had. Smart enough to out-mechanic the server operators. I mean, I found half the puzzle, right? The other half, with the human sacrifice, came specifically from Pearl and Scott. I came up with the original idea. They refined it. So, I'd been thinking about that loophole. When was it that you had the aha? I don't know if it was a specific moment. It was in my video. You can see the moment where I brush against the world border. Oh, hang on a second. I brush against the world border, and it comes up with a message, and I read the message, and I kind of internalize the message, and I go, and I'm whispering it. It's like I'm reading it out loud, and then it's just sort of like, what if we turn them into vampires? And that was, yeah, the power of friendship was the key. Friendship is magic. They were in the line since episode 2. Yeah, like me and Legs came together like pretty quickly as a pair. Like, I don't like, Pearl is a great roleplay person to play with. But like I said, my backstory was very dark, and I didn't want to impose that on Pearl, because we all thought we were coming in for a relatively light-hearted Among Us vampires tale. The fact that it went the way it did, my god. My god. Was it clarified if killing the first sire would... Yeah, no, that it has to be the original sire. Let's not break the Pearl community. Yeah, I didn't want Pearl to have to deal... Like, I said that to Pearl. I said, my backstory's pretty dark, and I'm going to go and deal with it in other places. Like, Pearl got a bit of it. Pearl got the I'm not worth saving conversation. I'm a monster. She got that. But she didn't get the I was enslaved for 81 years. Well, Pearl's story was lighthearted and goofy for the most part. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm enjoying facing near Pearl. Curing a vampire sire would break the bond. No, they have to be dead. Because their blood is still their blood. So, yeah. Orion Guy, resubscribe for 34 months. Thank you very much. Raven Chidbiddy says, I gotta know, what did you think about Arcane and I's theorizing in the Discord? Okay, so for everyone else who is not in my Discord, I get it. I had Arcane and Raven in there trying to figure out my backstory for like hours at a time. And it was just like, I was reading it and I was going, huh, that's a lot. I have a Discord. I have a Patreon Discord, so it's for people who are on my Patreon server and the Discord. So, yep. We're in voice chat for hours, for days. I had to mute that channel several times. Yeah, it was a lot. Would Cleo ever tell Pearl about her past at some point after everything? Yeah, I do think that as Cleo works through it, she will explain it to Pearl. And, like, because I think, like, because in this universe, drinking vampire blood gives you the memories of that person, I think she would understand how Pearl would see it. Like, Vampire Cleo is not okay with her past and thinks it makes her a monster. Like, but seeing how Pearl would react to that past makes her realize that it is not defining who she is because she wasn't in control. So yeah, that's like she it takes her memories to make her feel comfortable letting their past go. So yeah, Cleo's finale was so tense, and then Pearl's last 10 minutes had such whimsy as she got fully experienced all the vampire stuff. Yeah. I loved how your finale said absorbing Pearl's memories of Vampire Cleo softened Vampire Cleo's... Yeah, it did. Like, 100% that's what happened. Was Vampire Cleo afraid Pearl would turn on her after the reveal that you killed Pearl? Yeah, She 100% believed that. Scott asked about turning Pearl, and Vampire Cleo said, "No, I think she's done with me." And she did. She did. So, like, Pearl proving that wasn't true, knowing that about her, and was willing to listen. Like, she didn't think Pearl would be willing to listen after that. But, she was. And so we're all happy. She has an eternity now to try and redeem herself. Yep. Do you think Cleo would find solace in any new humans over the ages after the events of the SMP? I think she needs to work on herself for a good 100 years. But then maybe she would be open to seeing more humans. You thought I would do... You thought I was going to do Pearl's light-hearted, oh, bork bork ending? No. It's like you haven't watched my point of view at all. I was always going for the pain. Always. No happy... Although there is a dog in the scene that I edited. So... I would argue, made myself, Cleo's already redeemed herself. Yeah, she doesn't see it that way, though. She finds it really like, trauma is one of those things that takes, like, you can understand that you were not at fault, but you still suffer from it, right? It's one of those things that is always going to cause you, like she says, sometimes the monster still wins. And that's, the monster is trauma in this instance. Because her trauma tells her that she is evil. It's a happy brick, but still a brick. It's always a brick. I was expecting Pearl to go crazy after being turned, given her reaction to just a bite. Yeah. Did Cleo, like she would have done, she would have made a grave. She didn't, in the game, but she would have done. The series could have been called The Self-Loathing. Yeah. Is Pearl indeed a werewolf now? I think she's a hybrid, is how she put her point of view to me. Okay. I think I'm very tired. So I think I'm going to call the stream there. Let's see. Let's send you... what's the time? Oh, Ren's probably ending. JT, is Ren ending? This is where I asked specifically. Getting close to ending. Okay, I'm going to send you over to Abolish then. That feels appropriate. Hang on. Apparently I can't. Hang on. Let's... What? Okay. Flash raid. Okay. Oh. Flash raid. Okay. There we go. Abolish regrets. There we go. Let's send you... Oh, hang on. It's not abolish regrets. It's abolish regret. Singular. Just the one regret he abolishes. Just the one. Not plural regrets. Just one regret. Just regret in general. No, I think it's funnier if it's not. Anyway, thank you for coming. I do appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.